So for entirely scientific purposes, I was just on Rebecca Black's YouTube page. So Rebecca Black is this girl that you will recall circa 2011, 2010. She had a video that blew up and went viral called Fridays, uh, which I didn't watch at the time because I'm kind of, I don't know, allergic to memes, but but I've watched it recently and I can confirm to you that it went viral for all the right reasons. Um, it a terrible generic song with awful singing. It kind of proves that auto tune cannot make it sound like you can sing. And sorry, I hear like a band playing. It's distracting, and I'm in pitch blackness. Though I do have a new phone, so hopefully I'm in less pitch blackness. Okay. So she had this terrible song, and she basically paid a production company, or her family paid a production company, a bunch of money to produce a song and a music video with her and lend an air of like professionalness to her. But essentially, her talent was out of sync with the ambitions of the video. So it just ended up looking like an expensive joke at her expense. If you watch the video, or if you look at it right now on YouTube, it has something like 112 million views, which that alone off advertising revenue must be a tidy little sum of money. um, and the reason we're talking about Rebecca Black, this is part one of two videos that I think are about the nature of art making now, and really for the foreseeable future until some other new radical shift changes the landscape. I wonder if we can get myself brighter. Nope. Okay. So the video's got 112 million views, and it's terrible. And if you could imagine, if you could put yourself in the shoes of this girl, she was probably 14, and she's just trying to make a little music video. I don't know to what extent her ambitions were. I'm assuming the goal was like to get a little bit of attention, maybe get the attention of like an actual record producer or something like that, or a manager. But instead, the thing blows up and makes her a laughing stock. It's the kind of video that gets traded around where people are like, oh my God, you have to see this. It's absurd. And she becomes a kind of the face of like a certain sort of industry scam where somebody pays you a bunch of money and says that they can make you a star. So you're 14, Jimmy Fallon, Jay Leno, whoever, every late night show is making fun of you. Your thing is trending on YouTube, you're trending on Twitter, you've made it, except that you haven't made it, right? Because like you are no closer to getting a record deal. Well, if you go and visit Rebecca Black's YouTube channel right now, she's got, actually, let's back up a moment here. The narrative with art and the media is supposed to work like this. You're supposed to stay in hiding, working on your craft, making demos, making things that aren't meant to be shared widely. They're meant for a targeted audience to help you improve what you're doing. At a certain point, you show promise, or you've arrived enough that you get the attention of the right people and you start to make an actual product. And those people, their job is to get your product polished and disseminated. So to make a record, to have you go on tour, to have you do guest spots on other songs. If you're an actor, those are your early roles, where you really cut your teeth and get your chops together. So I gotta apologize. This video is already 4.5 minutes in. I was just super tired. I had a big day today, and I'm just trying to get my energy levels back up. So I feel like I'm talking really slow. Okay, so you're supposed to work in hiding. In most professions, this means going to school, then going to college, and then your exposure is when you get your first job. It's entry level. You're just learning you learn how to put what you learned in the craft environment of school into action. So once your stuff gets shown to the world, it's supposed to be legitimately good. Like, it's not supposed to be Rebecca Black good where it has the veneer of quality. It's actually supposed to be actual quality. You should know how to sing. You should work with the right songwriters. You should know how to write music. You should know what the hell you're doing. You should have the money for proper directors. Your record cover should look like a real record cover. Essentially, at that point, you have arrived. When people see your stuff, there should be no question that you're a legit and serious artist. So Rebecca Black violated all of that. And because of that, she went viral. Now, the next part of the narrative states that when your ambitions are totally out of sync with your skill level and you haven't really earned your stripes or paid your dues yet, that backlash should smack you down and make you never show your face again. I mean, ultimately that's what people expected of Rebecca Black. They did not make that video go viral to say, hey, learn how to sing. Essentially it was like a form of shaming. It's just that her scandal was fairly benign. And but the expectation is that she suffered from overexposure. It was smacked down hard by reality, and she should now stay out of the limelight and learn her lesson. And that if anyone were to recognize her in public, it should be embarrassing, because she's like worse than a one-hit wonder. Basically, it should be a permanent black mark on her permanent record, let's say. Permanent red ink that says, like, damaged goods, this chick doesn't have it, move on. So what is the point of all of this? Rebecca Black actually proves a rule that all attention is good and or funny if you lean into it. So if you visit her YouTube page right now, what you will see is an immensely popular pop star who seems to exist entirely out of traditional music industry machinations. Her songs have typically in the neighborhood of 100,000 views, though I just saw one with 800,000, and I don't think those are like irony views or hate views. She's popular. I'm assuming, based on what I know of YouTube economics, is that she makes a living off YouTube videos. So every week she drops a video. They're about their music videos or beauty videos or style videos or interviews with people. She's essentially a professional YouTuber. And the platform for that is this music video that should have been a career ender before it even began. And instead, it just goes to show this rule that you can embarrass yourself so unbelievably thoroughly, but at the end of the day, eyeballs are eyeballs. And that's pretty freaking amazing. The dude that made that movie, The Room, is kind of back in the press right now because James Franco is making a documentary about, not making a documentary, he's making a movie about the making of that movie. And there's a documentary about him as well. And that guy, he's made this movie that is routinely called the worst movie ever made. And he's basically been making a living off of midnight screenings of that movie for upwards of a decade. The same deal. The negative blowback should have ended his career, but he leaned into it. He's impervious to the criticism. That's a pretty amazing skill. So What does any of this have to do with being like the new way that artists function circa 2017? It's this. Most of us are afraid of making a mistake in public. We're afraid of the idea of overexposure. We're afraid of the idea of what if, we're afraid of the idea of what if nobody sees this? And we're afraid of the idea of everybody seeing it. Both of those inspire fear. And then we see those instances of something that goes viral for all the wrong reasons. So you've got your Rebecca Blacks, your Slim Jesus, who else? I don't know. I mean, we could throw, what's his name, Post Malone into that category, except that dude leaned in heavy, and now he's got a legit career. I mean, and he actually had a modicum of talent, but still, that video went that first video, I can't remember, it's called White Iverson or whatever. I mean, that thing went viral, definitely based on some Jesus, get a load of this guy, how dare he kind of shit. So it's sort of the same deal. Now, so we have this fear of putting our stuff out there, because what if everyone sees it, and what if they laugh at it? And the answer is really simple. They might see it, and they might laugh at it, and if enough people laugh at it, you're building a career off that. My favorite Grant Cardone quote is this. If you can get half the people in this country to hate you, you could be president. That to me crystallizes it so clear. The fears that you have about negative reactions and blowback, or even obscurity. Imagine if you actually did see a YouTube video that only had 2 views, and then you watched it and you were like, holy shit, this is life-changing stuff. It's music that affects you profoundly, or an idea that resonates with you, or an idea that stops you in your tracks and makes you do something new with your life. Would you watch that and then be like, I don't know, it's only got 2 views. There must be something else here. Or would you actually probably go on a mission to try to share that with other people? I'm guessing it's the second one. I'm guessing that you wouldn't actually look at the quality of it. You wouldn't look at those numbers and say, oh, that means I can't watch it. If anything, maybe you'd feel like you found a little bit of a diamond in the rough, or a gem. So this video, the short of it is this. A lot of the fears that you have about putting your stuff out in the world, about doing a project like this, sharing what you know with the tools that you have available to you, the negative reactions that you fear, in the grand scheme of things, if you can get those negative reactions, good for you. Because they're hard to get. They're difficult. It's difficult to get the number of people watching your shit to where then it can then go beyond your circle of friends to people who hate watching your stuff, or watching it with a get a load of this moron kind of attitude. It might sound crazy, but you should be so lucky to get that reaction. Nothing that you can do is probably going to be as bad or as much of a public misstep as Rebecca Black. And yet, if it were, that could very easily be the best thing that ever happened to you. That could be the thing that gives you a platform, because no matter what you do, if 1 million people see something that you do, there's a decent chance that out of that, 50,000 are actually going to dig it. There's a good chance that 50,000 people is more than who's looking at your stuff right now. And so the moral of the story is, you got to publish. Don't worry about the negative consequences. There are none if you lean into it and you're prepared for it. All right, thanks a lot for watching.